So how did you find yourself in Toronto in 1969?
So I met the arranger for the Motherlode, on some Ray Charles dates in 1968. Ray Charles had Doug Riley, and I liked Doug. I liked the way he wrote, and he liked me. And he said, I want to get you up to Toronto to cut with this group that I've been working with. I said, oh, okay, that sounds like a nice trip. I'd like to do that, you know. And so I went ahead and flew up there, and I had a good time. I loved the food, and I loved the guys, you know, to play with in the studios. And that's where I met Lenny Breau because he was on the date in March, I believe it was. I think it was
Okay.
in March. So we talked about it. He said, "Oh, I'd like to come to L.A." I said, "Well, you come to stay at my house. I'd be honored to have you. I have spare room. You could stay there and." Blah 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 blah, you know, and so then he decided to come, and he stayed at my house.
And what was your impression of Lenny when you first met him?
Well, he dressed pretty wild. I
Yeah.
mean, he uh he he uh he dressed avant-garde. You know, it was like he looked like Robin Hood or something. You know, he had those type of clothes on. It was
Right.
cute the way he dressed. He was very hip. You know, and he
Yeah.
had that goatee, and he looked real sharp. You know, but but I had just bought some scooters for my girls. You know, like the motorcycles. You know, so he had to try he had to try the motorcycle, and he was so cute riding down the little scooters. You know, I think that they were Vespas or something. You know,
Right.
riding down because he had to try it too. And they had this costume on. You know, the conservative neighborhood riding the scooters with my kids. He loved to do that. He
Uh,
had a good time. My kids love Lenny. They just fell in love with him. You know, I have a girl, boy, girl, and they were pretty young then, and they were all at home, and they admired him. You know, because he was very sweet with kids. You know, that's the thing that I liked about him too. He's very sweet with kids. We had so much fun together. A very nice guy. He's very enchanting guy because he's nice but hip at the same time. You know, usually when somebody was hip, they weren't that nice, but he was. And the, and that first night that we played together, we played all night long at my house, you know, and it was, you know,
right.
and we jammed together. It was so much fun to play, and I got to play guitar again, which was fun. And he was such an unusual player. He could do those harmonics, and I never heard anybody do that before, to play certain kind of harmonics. And he could make. I think he had a 8-string guitar or something. He had like almost a 12-string guitar. And the way that he could play the harmonics was very unusual. But he was a very good jazz player too. You know.
How did Meanwhile Back in L.A. come about?
You know, Cindy, I don't even remember what that was. Well, we probably sat down and jammed. And invented a tune together, and so I don't remember that tune at all. But I'd have to hear it, and
Yeah.
and then it would come back to me. We probably just sat down and jammed something, and something came out.
Uh,
That's wild. That's beautiful. But that's typical of him. I mean, to give credit to somebody else.
uh.
He was that kind of a guy.
So Lenny didn't really express any interest in becoming a session musician.
Well, he did at first. He did at first, and I said, "Well, if you're serious about this, I can help you get hooked up with people because he'd be great because he was great on the dates up there in Toronto. You know, his reading wasn't as good as it
Right.
should have been, though, and I think that's probably what put him off a little bit because I took him down to some film calls that were pretty tough reading because you have to be able to read it perfectly. You don't sit and practice it. You never see the music before you cut it. You go to the film studio and you have to read every note because it's so expensive to cut music for film that they don't roll that tape back for anybody. And if you make a mistake, you're out. You know. So I think he saw that and he saw the pressure of that. Plus, it's boring in between things too. You know, you're just sitting around. For 20 bars waiting to play 3 notes or something, and it gets pretty boring. And he decided from watching those dates he did not want to do that. He wanted to go play jazz, you know, because he had so much fun down here to play these live dates in jazz, and everybody was coming down to hear him play. He just packed the houses, and I think he got that feeling, that he just wanted to do that. And he had these gigs at the Manhole.
Right.
And geez, the house was packed. I mean, if you'd have dropped a bomb that night, you'd have wiped out all the guitar players in the world. I mean, they were all down there. George Van Ness was there even, and George kept saying, "What a great player!" He was just so impressed with Lenny, and and everybody was. Howard Roberts was there. Dennis Fudemer, he was there and certainly trying to cop every lick he could off of him, But all the guitar players from Alan Ruth to Bob Bain, to Al Hendrickson, all the heavyweight studio players were there. Barney Kessel was there. I think that even Glenn Campbell was there. Almeida, Herb Ellis was there. Just about every guitar player in town was there. And it just knocked him out because he knew who everybody was. When you have all the names of the business there to hear you play, it just had to knock his socks off. And he was really very happy that everybody paid him honor, and we did. We loved him. We loved him as a person, and we loved him as a player, He conquered Hollywood. He conquered everybody because we all loved him. When he got up on stage, that he'd get you involved with the music because he had so much love for the music that he just got you into it. He was admired and loved and fun to watch too, as well as listen to, because he had all these beautiful sounds coming out of him.
Down in LA, you know, they run those called Ewok back in LA. Thank you.